Hello again, and welcome back to Educator.com's Introduction to PHP course. In today's lesson, we're going to be covering the topic of error handling in PHP. Specifically, we're going to talk about how PHP handles errors by classifying them according to different levels and how it reports them. We're going to talk about the error reporting function, which is a way of managing how errors are reported in PHP. We're going to talk about a number of different configuration directives within PHP INI that affect how errors are handled. And we're also going to introduce a new operator known as the error control operator that relates to error handling in PHP. So basically, PHP, it classifies errors according to different levels of severity. And then what you can do is set the level of severity that you want to be made aware of for certain errors. So you might want to be made aware of only severe errors, or maybe you want to be made aware of errors and warnings. PHP allows you to set that level, and it also allows you to set how you want to be made aware of it. For example, like you could have it output to your browser, you could have it output to a log file. And the way that you set the level that you want to see in PHP is using this directive called error_reporting. It's a configuration directive in php.ini, and what it does is it globally sets the error level that you want reported for all of your scripts running in a particular PHP configuration. And basically what you do is you set that configuration directive to a number of different error level constants, which can be found at this link here. If we actually go and look at this page, it's part of the PHP website. You can see that there are different constants, which are, for example, the first one defined as e_error. The constants are integer values, and then PHP has different constants for different types of error, different levels of errors. For example, e_errors is for fatal runtime errors. So if you specify error reporting directive to be set to this, then all of fatal runtime errors will be reported. There's other ones like e_warning, which is sort of a step down from error. It's maybe non-fatal errors, but something that's that you should know about. E_notice is kind of like the next level down, which is even less severe errors that happen. And as you can see, there's a number of different configuration directives, a number of different constants you can use in the error reporting configuration directive to set the level of errors that you want to see. Down here, just to mention, is e_all, which is basically shows all the different errors and warnings, and it's commonly used in development because you want to be made aware of any errors that are occurring. The way that the error reporting function works, the error reporting directive works, is by using what's known as performing bitwise operations on these different error constants. So for example, if we go, and I'll explain what that means in a sec, if we go and look at the php.ini file, and we go down, scroll down a ways and find the error reporting directive, this is an example of a bitwise operation on two error reporting constants. We have the error reporting constant e_all and the error reporting constant e_strict. This right here is known as the bitwise OR operator, and basically what it does is it says we want to see report all errors, and then also in addition any messages that are reported by e_strict. And e_strict kind of provides additional information to you that's not necessarily errors, that's useful during development. We're not going to go over bitwise operators in detail here, and if you want to find out more information, we're going to include a link in the quick notes to the bitwise operators on php.net. But you can also find within php.ini file, in this error handling and logging section, it actually talks a lot about the different error level constants that are available, and it talks about how you can use these bitwise operators to basically customize what error levels you want to be made aware of. So for example, this right here is the e_all constant, and it's running a bitwise operation known as the AND operation on the bitwise operation not of the e_notice variable. What that's constant. What that's essentially saying is I want to be made aware of all errors except and this means to not I don't want to be made aware of errors that are of the notice level. So it's saying everything but the notice level. These are examples of how you can use these sort of bitwise operators. So actually, if we go and look at a script we've written called errorhandling.php, it's going to contain an error, basically, or it's going to generate an error. And in this case, we've created a variable called divide by 0, and we're going to have it be the results of a division operation that divides by 0, which in PHP and most programming languages is not allowed, and it's going to generate a warning. So if we have the script and we go and take a look at it, let me just refresh it. You can see that we get a warning. This is of error level warning. It's saying division by 0 occurred on line 14, and if we go back and look at errorhandling.php, see on line 14 we divided by 0. Well, if we want to, for example, configure our PHP setup so that it doesn't show warning messages, which are configured by the e_warning constant, we can edit our PHP INI file to change that. And what we're going to do is we're going to say we want to show all the errors, except we don't, and this is the not operator, we don't want to see e_warning errors. So if we save this, and then because we're changing the configuration file, we need to restart Apache. So if we go ahead and restart Apache and view our page again, you should see because this error is of the e_warning type, it should disappear. And as you can see, it does. So let me actually just go back and change that back to the default value, or the default value that we've been using for development. And this is the default value that XAMPP sets in PHP INI. And we go ahead and restart Apache to make sure that the error shows up again. And we refresh the page. We can see that we get the warning again. Now, one thing that PHP also provides is a built-in function known as the error reporting function. And it's specified here by error_reporting and then parentheses. And basically what it does is it allows you to set on a script-by-script level, or at the script level, the error reporting level that you want to be set. So for example, if you have your PHP INI file, if you have the error reporting directive in there set to show all of the errors, you can use the error reporting function on any particular script to, for example, like in this case down here, if we included this function call in our script, we could say we want to see all the errors except for the warning errors, like we had just done. And what that does is whatever script you call that in, those are the only errors that are going to be reported for that script. And so what it does, it allows you to override the global PHP configuration to set the warning level or the error level to whichever you want. So for example, we can mimic what we had just done by changing the PHP INI file in our script by adding this error reporting function. And again, this is a function that's built into PHP. And if we set it to, we want to see all errors except e_warning errors. And we save it, and when we go ahead and run our script, which previously showed this error, and we run it now because we've changed the error reporting level for this script using the error reporting function, we're not going to get the error anymore. As we can see, the error disappears. So let me go ahead and just get rid of this so we can see the error again. And you can see that by eliminating that, we go back to the global setting for the error level, and our warning appears again. So there are actually a couple of other additional configuration directives that you can use in PHP INI to configure how error reporting is handled in PHP. One of them that we're going to talk about is the display errors configuration. And basically that's something you set either to on or off, and that says whether you want the errors reported to standard output, or because we're developing web applications, if it's going to be output to the web page or not. So for example, when we looked at our last file and we saw the divide by 0 warning output to our web browser, that was an example of display errors being on. There's also the ability to log errors to a log file, and there's a configuration directive for that called log_errors, and that is something that gets set to on or off as well. And basically that reports to, or lets PHP know whether you want to log your errors to file. sort of, and something that goes hand in hand with the log errors directive is the error underscore log directive. And basically what you provide, you set that to, is the file name of the error log that you want the errors logged to. So log errors turns on the logging, and then error log specifies where you want those files or those errors to be logged to. There's also a track errors configuration directive, and that determines whether this a predefined variable called PHP underscore error message is made available to scripts. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more when we get to the error control operator. So if we actually go back to our PHP INI file, and let's go ahead and turn the display errors off so you can see how that works. If we turn this to off and we restart our web server, whereas we previously saw this error, we refresh the page, we're not going to see it anymore because the errors have been turned off. Now what we're going to do is go down to the log errors directive, which is already actually turned on by default. And what we need to do is set the error underscore log directive to the file where we want the errors logged to. And if you scroll down, it's a little bit further down in the PHP INI file. Here's the error log directive. And right now you can see by default the XAMPP configuration has it to log to this log file here, which is a Linux. Basically, this is a Linux file path, and for that reason it's not working in our Windows configuration. So if we comment that out and actually go up and uncomment the line before it, which creates the error log file php underscore errors.log. What that's going to do is when we have any errors now, it's going to log them to this file, and basically the way this works is because no path is specified, it's going to create this log file in whatever directory we're running the script in that has errors. So now that we've added this, if we save it and go ahead and restart our Apache server, if we actually go ahead and look, this is the directory where the error handling script is. As you can see right now, there's only the error handling script in there. Now if we go and reload the page, we're not going to see an error displayed because we've turned display errors to off. But if we go and look at our directory where the script is actually located, we can see that a php errors.log file was generated. And if we go ahead and let's open it up in PSPad, we can see the error that's normally displayed, and it says PHP warning, division by 0, and then it goes on and outputs the rest of the message saying it happened on line 16 and so forth. So that's an example of how the error logging works in PHP. I'm going to go ahead and turn that back off and just set it back to the default value that XAMPP had set up, and then go ahead and also turn display errors back on. So we'll set this to value to on. And when we go ahead and restart our browser and we view the page, what we should see is that this basically, well, first of all, let's delete this error log file. Now that we set log errors to off and display errors to on, we should see the error displayed on our screen, and we also should not see an error log file show up in this directory. So if we go ahead and refresh our page, we can see the warning message was output, and if we look back at our script directory, we can see, if I refresh it, there's no error log that was output. So now I want to talk about a new operator that we're going to introduce called the error control operator. And it's an operator that's specified by the @ symbol. And what it is used for is to suppress any errors that are error messages that are generated by a particular operation or expression. And the @ operator is a unary operator, and basically what it does is it operates on whatever operand it prepends. So for example, in our script we had this divide by 0 variable. We set it equal to 1 divided by 0. If we append this error control operator to the beginning of our variable, the error that's going to be generated by this warning message of divide by 0 is going to be suppressed. So right now we can see, if we refresh the page, that we're getting the warning about dividing by 0. And if we go back to our script and we add this error suppression operator to the beginning of the line, we should see that the error is no longer going to appear. It's going to be suppressed. And if we refresh the page, we can see that, in fact, is true. Now, the one thing that we had mentioned before is there's a track errors directive in PHP INI, which can be set to on or off. And basically, when that's set to on, it makes this predefined variable PHP underscore error message. It makes that available. And what it does is every time an error occurs, it stores an error message within this variable here. And you can use that variable to output it to wherever, to your web page or to wherever you want to output it to. One thing to note is that it only stores the error message of the last error that occurred. So if you use this suppression operator or the error control operator to suppress an error, you want to go ahead and you want to output this error message in PHP error message. You want to go ahead and do that as soon as possible because any other error that occurs will overwrite the error message. So if we go back to our error handling page, we've suppressed the error, and if we go ahead and let's go ahead and echo this predefined variable because our track errors directive is set to on, and we go ahead and echo that. Now, instead of having no error output, we should get out what's reported by this error handling string. And if we refresh the page, basically we see a message that says division by 0, and that's the error message that was stored in the PHP underscore error message predefined variable. So now I just want to talk about the homework challenge for this lecture. Basically, just kind of want to have you go through and mimic all the different things that we've done today because it's going to give you experience with the different php.ini configuration directives. It's going to give you experience using the error reporting function, which again allows you to adjust the error level on a script by script basis, and it's also going to let you see how how you can log errors, display errors, and also how the error control operator works in action. So the first thing I'll have you do is create a script that's going to generate, like we did in our example, a divide by 0 warning, which, if you remember, is of the e underscore warning error class, and load the page to make sure that you're getting the error. Then I want you to go ahead and alter the error reporting directive in PHP INI as we did, so that the error doesn't show up. And make sure you restart Apache, reload the page in the browser to see that the error doesn't occur. Then go ahead and turn the error reporting directive back to its default value and reload the page to confirm that the error shows up again. Then, like we did in our example, I want you to use the error reporting function to get the message to the warning message to not be displayed on the script level. So use the error reporting function, reload the page, make sure the error doesn't show up, and then go ahead and get rid of the error reporting function so that you can see that the error appears again. Then go ahead and set the display errors directive to off so you can see, and restart Apache so you can see how the errors aren't being displayed. And then I'm going to have you turn on the log errors function, or set the log errors directive to on, and then specify a log file. And you can specify whatever log file you want, and basically reload the script and verify that because display is turned off, that it's not being displayed, and also that the log file has been created and that the warning was logged to your error file. Go ahead, undo the process, turn error logging back off, turn display errors back on, reload the page, make sure that the display is showing the error, and also confirm that your log file that you had before doesn't have an update with, one, if you had deleted it, that it's not been recreated, and two, that if you hadn't deleted it, that it doesn't show the error again. Then, to practice using the error control operator, go ahead and prepend the add operator to your divide by 0 variable, view the page to make sure the error doesn't show up, and then go ahead and use the PHP underscore error message variable to output that division by 0 error so you can get practice using that. So that ends today's lesson. Thank you for watching educator.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.